They came at noon the second day. Their arrival was announced by the wild unrest of the horses, scarcely controllable now either in stall or under rider, scenting from afar, a vapor instinct with horror. It was announced by a stampede of animals, timid and savage, hurling past each other, jaguars and pumas flashing by nimble stags of the pampas, bulky tapirs, no longer hunters, themselves hunted, outpacing fleet kinkajous. Maddened herds of cattle, heads lowered, nostrils snorting, rushing through tribes of loping monkeys, chattering in a dementia of terror. Then followed the creeping and springing denizens of bush and steppe, big and little rodents, snakes and lizards. Pell-mell, the rabble swarmed down the hill to the plantation, scattered right and left before the barrier of the water-filled ditch, then sped onwards to the river, where, again hindered, they fled along the bank out of sight. This water-filled ditch was one of the defense measures which the Leiningens had long since prepared against the advent of the ants. It encompassed 3 sides of the plantation like a huge horseshoe, 12 feet across, but not very deep. When dry, it could hardly be described as an obstacle to either man or beast. But the ends of the horseshoe ran into the river which formed the northern boundary and 4th side of the plantation. And at the end, nearer the house and outbuildings in the middle of the plantation, they had constructed a dam, by means of which water from the river could be diverted into the ditch. So now, by opening the dam, she was able to fling an imposing girdle of water, a huge quadrilateral with the river as its base, completely around the plantation, like the moat encircling a medieval city. Unless the ants were clever enough to build rafts, they had no hope of reaching the plantation, Lady Leiningen concluded. The 12-foot water ditch seemed to afford in itself all the security needed. But while awaiting the arrival of the ants, Lady Leiningen made a further improvement. The western section of the ditch ran along the edge of a tamarind wood, and the branches of some great trees reached over the water. Lady Leiningen now had them locked so that the ants could not descend from them within the moat. The women and children, then the herds of cattle, were escorted by peons on rafts over the river to remain on the other side in absolute safety until the plunderers had departed. Lady Leiningen gave this instruction not because she believed the non-combatants were in any danger, but in order to avoid hampering the efficiency of the defenders. Critical situations first become crises, she explained to her men, when oxen or children get excited. Finally, she made a careful inspection of the inner moat, a smaller ditch lined with concrete, which extended around the hill on which stood the ranch house, barns, stables, and other buildings. Into this concrete ditch emptied the inflow pipes from 3 great petrol tanks. If, by some miracle, the ants managed to cross the water and reach the plantation, this rampart of petrol would be an absolutely impassable protection for the besieged and their dwellings and stock. Such, at least, was Lady Leiningen's opinion. She stationed her men at irregular distances along the water ditch, the first line of defense. Then she lay down in her hammock and read, until a peon came with the report that the ants had been observed far away in the south.